Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we have a 2018 Toyota Highlander and we're going to be taking a look at the CURT Cargo Carrier. Now, this cargo carrier is going to give you a lot of extra space to be able to get stuff out of your vehicle and put it on the cargo carrier. A lot of people like to use these for generators, anything that basically would smell inside your vehicle. Some households don't have trucks, so you have to have something to be able to get materials that you don't want on the inside of your car, such as concrete, maybe small pieces of lumber, any of that kind of stuff. I see a lot of people doing fun little yard projects at their house with these. They go pick up topsoil. They can use them. You can use them for a vacation. The thing that's nice about these is that you can get the benefits of having a smaller truck without having to drive one on a daily basis. This allows you to get the stuff out of your vehicle, make more room for family and pets on the inside, and get all that stuff on the carrier. Now, when it comes to the actual size of this carrier, the overall width, if you're looking at the vehicle width, is going to be 57 3/4. It gives you a pretty good idea of how much you could fit in there if you've got particular coolers or whatever you want to put on here. And the length from the back of our vehicle rearward is going to be 19 1/4. So I've seen a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go out and specifically buy a cooler meant for their cargo carrier so that they sit perfect down in here. I think that's a great idea rather than trying to find one that fits and or use one that you have and try to strap it down. Now, when it comes to putting stuff in this cargo carrier, we do have a rear hatch on our Highlander, so you'll have to keep an eye on the breakover point. And a breakover point is where the rear hatch will come over the cargo carrier itself. We'll open up this rear hatch and watch for when it hits the tape measure. That's going to be at 29 inches. Now, 29 inches stacked up on a cargo carrier is pretty tall. But again, what I've seen and what I've done myself too is that if you have something that's that tall and you have to get into the back of your car, what you can do is you can just pull back on the stuff a little bit or loosen up the straps, open up your hatch, and then let it sit. That is going to give you a ton of room to be able to get in here and get what you need. If you're riding bikes, whatever, and you're in charge of carrying all the gear, and your friend's in charge of carrying the bikes, you can still get in, access all your stuff. The sidewalls themselves are going to be about 5.5 inches from the bottom of our cargo carrier to the top of this rail. That's going to give you a lot of stability to butt stuff up against this side. The rails are going to be about 7/8 of an inch, so pretty close to an inch. That'll give you a good idea of what straps that you might have that'll fit around these rails to be able to tie your loads down. I do recommend using cam buckle straps or bungee cords to be able to strap stuff down to this. I would not use a ratchet strap because you can over tighten a ratchet strap on a cargo carrier pretty darn quick. So just something to keep in mind. The expanded metal bottom will help for anything like mud and debris. If you put coolers on it and they've been sitting in wet grass or mud all weekend, all that stuff will fall through and you don't have to worry about it. I do like the rugged paint that this has. It's going to be a rugged black powder coat paint rather than being a shiny finish. Usually gloss finishes scratch really easy, and with using this thing and abusing it, you're going to want that tough paint job to be able to withstand the abuse. Now, as for ground clearance, we're going to be at about 12.5 inches to the back of the carrier here, which compared to the hitch receiver itself that we have on here is only an inch lower. Our hitch receiver is 13 inches to the bottom off the ground. This is going to be 1 inch lower than your hitch, whatever hitch you decide to put it in. For total length added to the back of your vehicle, we're looking at about 34 1/4. So just something to keep in mind if you want to load it up and park it in your garage, and then you can leave for your camping trip or whatever vacation you're going on the next day. You're going to be adding that length to your vehicle. Space between the vehicle and the front of the carrier is 13 3/4. More than enough space to, if you need to open up the rear hatch, get back in here. I do like that for the extension. This kit does not come with an anti-rattle bolt, so I would recommend picking up one that goes through the end of the shank. We've got them on our website, that you can tighten this thing down, because otherwise when you get it loaded down, you may feel a little bit of a slap when you go over bumps. Just a comfort thing, because this car is very quiet and comfortable to ride in. Now when it comes to storing it, if you're not using it, you get your trip, you get everything unloaded, put it in the cabin, just pull this pin, pop this pin out, lift this up, and now you can travel to go sightseeing or do whatever you want on the rest of your vacation with it up in the stored position. And you can leave it like this the rest of the weekend. Now, from the closest part of our vehicle to the closest part of our cargo carrier is going to be about 4 inches. Nothing to worry about, because no matter how much I shake this, it's not going to make contact. Again, without that anti-rattle pin, it does twist a little bit inside our hitch receiver. Still never going to hit the back of the car, which is good to know, because there are a lot of vehicles that these cargo carriers you can't use the folding feature because it's too close to the car. Now our ground clearance has changed, but only by a ½ inch. Now we're at about 11.5 inches. So that's good to know that it doesn't really change much when you fold it up. You can drive it just as normal. I would say at 11.5 inches, do be careful when you're going up steeper inclines. Being only 12 inches from the face of our hitch, we'll give you from the center of the hitch pin. In the center of the hitch pin, it's about 15 inches, so that you've added your vehicle when it's folded up. But all in all, I think it's going to be a great add-on. The Highlander is a more compact SUV, so having any of that extra space is going to be really handy. We do have roof boxes available if you want to go with something more on the roof, but the Highlander that we have today has a really big sunroof that's nice to look out of. After all, you got it because you want to use it. So if you don't want to cover that up on your vacations, you pick up the CURT Cargo Carrier, and I think you're going to be set.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.